Hello my beautiful bad bitches, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kayla. If you have not seen my face before, don't forget to click the subscribe button down below. Today's video is long overdue. I was supposed to put this video out a while ago. The video that I made after I did ayahuasca, it just wasn't entertaining. I was sitting in the middle of a jungle and there was monkeys. Those are monkeys. There was bugs. There's the bugs all over. There was me just being tired AF from the medicine. So I'm just going to sit here and explain it today instead and just throw that video out the window because I really liked the fact that you could see how I was after ayahuasca and like the mood I was in and stuff like that, but I just didn't get my point across very well because I was like straight off the medicine. So today I am going to be talking about my first ever ayahuasca experience. I'm super excited to share this with you guys. I have this notebook and I will be reading off of it. I'm gonna try my best like not to really get too distracted, but I'm gonna be reading off of it because this is the notebook that I wrote in right after I got done with ayahuasca and I documented my experience in this notebook. It's really interesting because I went to do ayahuasca for quite a few reasons, and those reasons weren't even my intention when I went to do ayahuasca because I realized that I needed much more deep healing than the surface level stuff. So I wrote down how I was feeling before ayahuasca, so I kind of want to read that to you guys before I even get started. The date that I wrote this was March 20th, 2023, 3 days before I left for Costa Rica. I wrote down how I'm feeling. So I said, I feel excited, I feel ready, I'm only nervous for the taste of the medicine, worried that I won't be able to keep it down, or worried that I won't experience anything, but I'm sure I will be fine. That's what I wrote down, and I do want to say, based on my experience, the taste of the medicine actually wasn't that bad. It kind of tastes like cough syrup, in my opinion. Other people might think differently. It just kind of tasted like a natural cough syrup to me. I also just shot it down to the back of my throat and like didn't really care to taste it, so it did have like an aftertaste and like a burning effect in my throat. It wasn't really that bad, honestly. Like, I'm gonna do it again, so I don't think it's that bad, and I have really sensitive taste buds. I wrote down why I'm going, so I said to heal my relationship with food, heal my anxiety, bring love and abundance into my life, find my purpose, and heal my trauma. So some of those things that I mentioned, I did heal. My relationship with food, I did not go into with ayahuasca. I kind of figured that out on my own before I went to the ceremony. So I do want to mention, I did go to Costa Rica to do ayahuasca. The place I went was absolutely amazing. I'm super grateful. It was like a almost resort style in a jungle. It was so cool. The pools were amazing. The people were amazing. The food was amazing. Everything was literally perfect. I'm just super grateful that I got to experience that. Before I get started in telling you about my experience, I did want to mention that I did a breathwork session beforehand. My intention for the breathwork session was freedom. I didn't know what that quite meant for me. When I went into the breathwork session, I'm going to keep this short so that I can hop right into the details of ayahuasca, but I accepted the fact that I dealt with a lot of sexual trauma in my life. I didn't necessarily heal that in this breathwork session that I did. A lot of it was just acceptance, and I cried a lot. And honestly, I thought that this is what I would be going through with ayahuasca, and I did not go through any of that with ayahuasca. So without further ado, I'm going to get into the details of ayahuasca now. So night one, ayahuasca. This was March 24th, 2023. I wrote down, I don't know if you could see like the top here, I wrote down with really messy handwriting while I was on ayahuasca, just like 2 sentences, and then after that I had to write down after because I was just like in my journey. I wrote down, I feel restless. I was like this when I was a kid, LOL. Pretty much, I was feeling very restless. I went up, drank the first cup, and I'm like, oh, it's not like as terrible as I thought. And then I go sit down and I'm sitting there feeling super restless. And I felt a call to go to the grass. And I felt this call to go to the grass before I even took ayahuasca. I felt like I needed to ground myself. So before I even went down to do ayahuasca, I did plant my feet in the grass for a little bit, but not very long. And then when I was in the ayahuasca ceremony, it was beautiful. There was an altar in the middle. It was super silent and just like music playing. It was very amazing. When I was in line, I wasn't nervous until I was in line, and then my heart was just like beating super fast, and I was like, holy shit, this is it, this is what I'm doing. So I drank the first cup and I go back and I sit on my mat, and I was feeling called to go sit on the grass, but I was not listening. And I feel like this was ayahuasca teaching me how to communicate with her. But again, I wasn't listening because in my head, I was like, nobody else is on the grass yet, like I don't want to go over there. In a sense, like it was kind of a lesson of like, why do I care what people think, and also why don't I take leadership and just do it myself, because like I was in my own body, like I was doing it for me, you know what I mean? I definitely should have went on the grass, but I was not listening, so I just kept sitting there feeling really restless, turning side to side. I was not able to get comfortable. And I was sitting there thinking like, when's it gonna kick in? When's it gonna kick in? When's it gonna kick in? Because I've never done it before. I wasn't sure how I was gonna feel. I wasn't sure how it would make me feel. So I was really wondering like, has it kicked in yet? I don't feel anything. When am I gonna feel something? I think that went on for about a half hour, and then I started to feel the effects of Mama Aya. I felt restless until I went out on the grass. So pretty much she made me feel super, super uncomfortable, and then I went out on the grass, planted my feet in the grass, sat down, and just stared at the stars, and I felt so much better. Like I felt like I was supposed to be there. And I was just staring at the stars, and they were like so beautiful, and there was like a ring around the stars, and it was just so freaking pretty. Like I cannot describe. I've never seen the stars like this in my life. And they were like insanely bright too. Like anything I looked at that had light was just super, super bright. I got this insane, overwhelming feeling of just like pure love, and a feeling that I had never ever felt before. So I just had this insane feeling of just love, and I can't describe how that felt because it's just a feeling that I felt. But it was just like an overwhelming sensation of just love for everybody in my life. And a lot of it was love for my husband, Haruki. Like I just realized how much I loved him, and I can't even describe the feelings I was feeling. I literally just started crying, tears, like just tears flowing down my face. I didn't even feel like I was crying, just tears were like coming down my face like a flood. And I don't know, I've never cried like that in my life, but I was just so freaking happy, and I felt so much love for him and then everybody else in my life. It was a pretty intense feeling. And then I started feeling love for my cats and my parents, and then I realized that ayahuasca is love, and everything is love. And this was ayahuasca introducing me to her, and I realized that she really is love. So I start saying, oh my god, I love you, ayahuasca, I love you so much. It was just such a beautiful experience. Like I can't even, I'm having a difficult time putting this into words, because like it's something that I just can't describe. Like it was just a beautiful experience. I felt an insane amount of happiness like I had never felt in my life. And then all of a sudden, I started to feel pain. I don't quite remember this, but the notes said that I felt pains in the left side of my throat and abdomen. And I'm kind of looking at that now as like my feminine energy, like the feminine side, because the left side is more feminine. I started to feel pain in the left side of my throat and the left side of my abdomen. I wrote down that every time I went to the bathroom, I felt like I was gonna poop, but I couldn't. I was also yawning so much. Like these yawns were literally insane. Like I yawned so big to the point where like the sides of my mouth literally cracked open. Like I've never yawned so big in my life. Like I can't even describe like how big the yawns were, and it literally left cracks in the side of my mouth because I was yawning so much. And then next I felt her taking over my body. So I want to describe this to you. I came back to the circle on my mat. I felt her literally inside of me, and this is gonna sound scary, but I wasn't scared. It was like I was possessed. Like there was literally a spirit inside of me, like in my bloodstream. I mean, there literally like was. But I know it sounds super scary, but like I wasn't scared. I just kind of let go and let her take over my body. So I was sitting up like this, and she was like moving my upper half of my body so slowly. So I was like this, like I was literally like, I'm not gonna show you all of it because like it would take so long, but I was literally like, picture me moving like this, but like insanely slow. Like that's how it was. Like she was moving me extremely slowly, and then all of a sudden I'd be down here and she'd like bring me up. Like it was like weird. It was really weird. Like she would like literally like force me up, and I would sit up straight, and like your girl does not sit up straight. So like that was pretty wild. And she would like move me this way and like move my arms, and it was a really interesting experience. Also, the music sounded insanely loud, and so did the bugs. It wasn't like that bad, but like I could notice that my ears were very sensitive and just everything was super, super loud. And I went to the bathroom again and I saw a really big bug. And now there was like these bugs called cicadas in Costa Rica, and we have them in Florida too, but in Costa Rica these things are freaking humongous. Like they're like this big, and like they were like hitting my face at one point and it hurt really bad. But anyways, I saw a insanely huge one in the bathroom and I wasn't scared. That's the thing, like I wasn't scared of it. I was literally just like staring at it like, what the fuck is that thing? Like I was like in the stall and I was like, what is that thing? And I was just sitting there like kind of like, okay, if I go in this bathroom, is this thing gonna like fly at me or is it gonna chill there? Like I was kind of cool with going inside, but I was just kind of sitting there like, what is that? Like I wasn't sure what it was because it was so much bigger than the other bugs. So I wasn't exactly sure what it was. So I was just curious. And then one of the helpers came in and she asked me like, she was like, what happened? And I'm just like staring at like this bug in the stall and I'm like, oh, there's a bug in there. And she was like, oh, it's just like one of the other cicadas. I know it's big, but it won't hurt you, it won't do anything to you. She was like, do you want to go in the other stall? I was like, yeah, sure. And so I went in the other stall. She was super nice. And then when I went in the other stall, I literally like, I felt like I had to go to the bathroom, but I literally only like tinkled a little bit. Like I don't know, ayahuasca like does something weird to your body where like you feel like you have to go to the bathroom and then you don't. At least that's what happened for me. So then I came back to the circle and then I eventually laid down. I laid on my left side in the fetal position and it literally felt like so comfy, like to the point where like I don't think I've ever felt so comfortable in my life. Like I was just like kind of snuggling up and like it was a vibe. Okay, I also want to mention, I totally forgot this part because I didn't write it down, but I did go and get a second cup. I don't know when I got a second cup, but I do remember I went and got a second cup of ayahuasca and I think it probably was like right before I fell asleep. I have no idea. What I will say is when I was in the line for ayahuasca, I was like, do I need a second cup? Like I wasn't sure. And so I was gonna ask the shaman if she thought I needed one. And then when I got up, I was like, I was next. And then I kind of got this overwhelming feeling of like, if I didn't need a second cup, I wouldn't be standing in the line. So then I go up and I drink the second cup. And yeah, I just wanted to throw that in there because just in case any of you were curious if I drank a second cup or not, I did. I just don't know when. So yeah. So I actually didn't know this. I'm looking at my notebook, like some of the things I literally forget, so like it's a good thing I have my notebook here, but it says that I fell into a deep sleep and I do remember waking up, but I literally forgot that I fell asleep during the first ceremony. And so it says that I woke up and I heard a drum and I was initially like super scared, like this drum was like banging really hard and I was like super scared at first, but then I kind of like reassured myself I was okay and I calmed down because like I think at first I didn't like really know where I was, so I like woke up and I'm like, what the fuck? And then like I was like, okay, I'm okay. And I think that was teaching me like how to deal with my anxiety because like it kind of like put me in like a scary situation and then I started to feel safe, you know, like I started to calm myself down. And then I felt like some trauma was about to like surface up. But I was having like such a good experience that I just didn't want to deal with it. So I was kind of like resisting it. But what I noticed with ayahuasca is, I mean, all the other videos that I watched said that she will put you through hell and pain and torture until you let go. But that wasn't really the case for me. I mean, at least in this ceremony, that wasn't the case for me. She just like worked with me and like she would like kind of like bring it up, like trying to like ask me if I want to deal with something and I would be like, no, I'm having a good experience, like I want to keep having this good experience. So that's kind of what happened. I didn't like, I felt like she worked with me and we both had like a mutual respect for one another. So then I started feeling cold and I was shaking, and I think this was part of that, like, you know how people say like she'll put you through torture if you don't let go. I feel like that was like kind of what this was, how this was happening. I was like extremely cold, shaking. I mean, people say you get really cold on ayahuasca, so it kind of makes sense. But I was like really freaking cold and I hate being cold. And also I was like initially upset that I fell asleep, but then I like realized that I needed the rest, so then I like kind of became okay with it. But at first I was just kind of like, oh dang, like I missed a lot of the ceremony, and like I actually didn't miss that much. But yeah, so much so that I didn't even remember I fell asleep. I'm literally just like reading my notes here. So I am going to read to you what visuals I saw during the first ceremony. Throughout the whole ceremony, I don't know when I saw these things, but these are the visuals I saw. So I saw lightning bugs, and the lightning bugs and the stars were bright. So the lightning bugs were actually there. Other people could attest to they saw lightning bugs as well. So I'm pretty sure the lightning bugs were actually there, and they were like up in the Maloka, like at the top of the Maloka, and it was super freaking cool. So I'm pretty sure they were there, and like the stars were super bright. This is gonna sound literally insane, but this is my experience. But I saw the earth kind of like, the veil of the earth kind of like fade, and I saw literally like the galaxies beyond the stars. Like it was pretty freaking cool, but I was like, whoa, like that's like, whoa. Like I just like couldn't believe my eyes. Like I literally saw that and like just felt like so much love for like the plants and the trees and the earth, and I felt so much love for the earth. It was literally insane, because like before this I never really thought about the earth in that way, but like this brought that to me, like holy shit, like I appreciate this so much. I saw visuals with my eyes closed, but it felt like far away, and it did feel far away. Like it felt like it was like a screen far away from me almost. I also wasn't sure if I was like making it up or like, you know, but then I was like, there's no way I could be making this up, because it was like very like intricate cartoons that I had never seen in my life, like really interesting cartoons of like bears and like, I don't know, like it was like really weird like cartoons. So yeah, that's what I saw. I didn't see too many visuals, but that was my experience. I know some other people saw a lot of visuals. I barely saw any, so I didn't really necessarily have like an insane psychedelic experience. Mine was mostly just feeling love. It was mostly a feeling. But my eyes were open for the most part during the ceremony, and I wrote down, I am so grateful. I also didn't necessarily feel a feminine energy the first night, and I also didn't really know what that would feel like, because people do say they feel a feminine energy on ayahuasca. So you'll have to stay tuned to see if I felt that for the other two ceremonies, because I'm gonna do different videos. Also, I would highly recommend to go watch the previous videos that I did on ayahuasca, so you could learn a little bit more about what it is and why I decided to do it. I have a couple of videos about that. So yeah, that was my first ayahuasca experience. It pretty much was just like feeling an abundance of love, crying a lot, and just feeling super happy. So it was a really, really good experience. It was probably like the best experience ever. I just like, it was so fun, honestly. It was a good time. But my other two experiences were totally different, so you're gonna have to stay tuned. Don't forget to click that subscribe button if you want to see the other videos, and hit that post notification bell so that you can get notified when I upload the next two ayahuasca videos. So yeah, thank you so much for watching today. I'm super grateful that you tuned in, and yeah, I will see you in the next video.